back. Uh, that video right there was 18 minutes long. I don't know how it went from 8 minutes to 18 minutes being able to record. So hopefully this will be 18 minutes too. I just moved it from the internal storage to the SD storage. But okay, so he had his hand over his mouth, whatever. Some birds fighting, and that happened. But I was saying that I really later on I did do some research about what had happened to me because I just couldn't get over it, and I didn't know why it had to be like that, and they never did explain it to me. But I went home and I prayed, and I wrote down some stuff like journals and notes to give back to them, but I threw the survey out because I didn't even want to open it up because I felt like I couldn't talk to them, and I didn't want the confusion in my mind about trying to surrender my thoughts and my ideas to be fall into the opinion of these people that had done this to me, even though I trusted Sister Perry. But what happened was, it was another thing he said on the survey. It says 5 things on there. I think I don't know if I know them all, but one of them says submit to authority on every level, come to service every Tuesday, don't go up unless Sister Perry calls you up, sit towards the back, and complete the survey before returning to service. So, like I said, I took that hard. But anyway, I went home and I was writing these notes and stuff to give back to him. But I never did give it to him. I was too afraid. I didn't know who to talk to and who to trust. But anyway, before that happened, Sister Perry was praying with me. And she said, in the microphone, she said, "You haven't been here in a while. You know I love you, right?" And she said, "Lift your hands." And she prayed with me, and I fell out under the power. And after that, it was a service I came to, and I asked one of the men that actually brought me back into the room, I asked him, could I change my seat? And he said, "No, we're saving those for the out-of-town guests." In that service, I left the service, and I walked up into the college area. I just walked. And I came back right at the end of the service, and I went to the restroom. I guess, people had noticed that I had left. I don't know why they paying attention to me instead of Sister Perry. And I don't know what Sister Perry was preaching while I was gone. But on that night, she said, if you're fighting against the spirit of Jezebel, I'll be fighting with you. In that moment I left, I feel like I do not want to deal with no more Jezebel. I'm dealing with Jezebel in my own house. I had just finished reading that book by Prophet Bonham, My Spiritual Inheritance, and it had all that chapter all about Jezebel. It's like I've seen some people like that, and then you got new people coming to the ministry. She's trying to minister to them, whatever, initiate them into what's happening at the ministry, get everybody on the same accord. But I left that service, and when I came back, one of the people that worked there that was close to Sister Perry came to me and she said, "You didn't stay for service. Is there anything we should be concerned about?" And, your mom, I don't know what that meant. I guess your mom stayed. But anyway, I said, "No, I'm just tired. I'm on break right now from school." And she said, "I love you." And I told her, "I love you back." And she went back into the service or whatever. But that was what happened before they came in and told me about sitting in the back. And I had come back and I gave the note. So it was, "I love you," asking for a seat, came back with the notes because I was gonna say goodbye to everybody and didn't know how to say it. But anyway, that happened. So from that, and then that experience having something hit me on my head that I didn't know about, I went back home and I was trying to listen to worship music, and it felt like something was scratching my arm, and it felt like something evil was in the room with me. So maybe a demon did follow me home. But anyway, I'm trying to listen to worship music and it sounds like somebody talking in the radio. So that's going on. And I'm saying, okay, this is a spiritual thing. This has never happened to me in my life. And the only reason it happened now is because of what happened in that room or whatever that was that hit me. But during the time that they told me to go home and pray, I turned the TV on because I had been praying. I was saying, God, give me a word. And I was watching T.D. Jakes and Bishop Eddie Long on MegaFest, and Bishop T.D. Jakes came on there and he was talking about, he said, you were doing something for God and you got hurt, but God is going to turn it. He said, I would rather for somebody to cuss me than to curse me. I was like, oh my God, they put a curse over me. And it really felt that way. All of the things they said, it was negative. It wasn't coming from a place of love. And I felt like some of the women that were there were jealous of me. The fact that Sister Perry gave me attention and prayed with me. Even when Sister Perry prayed for me, she let me stay down on the floor and soak up the anointing when everybody else was in their seat. She said, don't touch her, just leave her there. So, and the fact that I had met Sister Perry personally on that day with Prophet Bono, I think was a divine connection from God. And that God had led me to that ministry to hear the word of God and to receive from the prophetic anointing that was on her life. Sister Perry did give a testimony about she used to talk to psychics, and that one time she was getting ready to reach for the phone and something grabbed her hand where she couldn't reach for the phone. So I became more familiar about the spiritual, seeing everybody go out under the power, seeing people holler out from demons not wanting to leave. So it wasn't nothing that you had to convince me whether or not demons or angels were real. I had seen stuff like that on TV. My mom would watch Bob Barker, or whoever that dude is. I think his name is Bob Barker. That would cast out the demons on TV and tell them to come out or whatever. But I'm watching T.D. Jakes, and then Bishop Eddie Long came on, and he said it was like a 3-day course that this happened. He said they cut you, Prince. Joseph, talking about Joseph, but instead of complaining, say, God, why do you trust me? And he said it sent you to your knees. And he said some people love you too much. And he was talking about people that hate on you and do you wrong. But that's just a snippet of what Bishop Eddie Long and Bishop T.D. Jakes were preaching. But it spoke to me because of the situation that I had just came out of. And specifically ministered to my soul. So I went back and I sat in the back like they said. But I never did get that piece about whether or not Sister Perry had said that before. She didn't look at me no different. She didn't talk to me any different. She just went about service. I honestly believe she didn't know what they had done, and because it was secluded to that the ushers and the people that worked there were supposed to maintain order, so they were doing their job. And he also had told me, he said, walking around during the service, he said, there something in your head, I don't know, yes, no, maybe, something you want to know. And he said, I may have an opinion, they may have an opinion, she may have an opinion, all kinds of stuff. But okay, so that happened, and I'm hearing stuff and I'm seeing stuff now, seeing shadows walk through the wall. And during that time my mom wasn't at home. She was going over to see her boyfriend that I didn't know where she was at, but she had been seeing him for a while because he had came over and they got reconnected. This was the baby daddy of her last son that she had, and this was the dude that we moved into the apartment with. She gave a testimony at church about what lifestyle she was living, not being married, but she's not in that relationship anymore. But anyway, she had gotten pregnant, and that was the first baby. When I got out of jail, because I went to jail for stealing a car, because I left home looking for my mom and she wasn't there. Went over to my cousin's house that was up the street. He thought I was on drugs because I was asking to use the phone. And he never did explain that, why he felt like I was on drugs. But I guess because I was banging on the door, saying, open up the door, let me in. Nobody was coming to the door. And I was trying to call my grandmother, my mom, to see where she was at, but I couldn't find her. So that day I had decided I'm going to run away from home. I'm never coming back because I can't deal with what's going on. My mom is pregnant now, and we're losing the house. And this had been like the third time that we had been evicted or without a home. And our stuff had been in storage for so long, and it's like, okay, I thought we were finally through with this, and now we're going through it again. And I said, I'm leaving because I don't know I could find my way somewhere out there. And this time I'm 22 because when I came back to WGCL, that's the name of the ministry Sister Pierre was at. That was in August or something, July or August, that they gave me the survey to complete. And so Mega Fest was in August. So I'm watching a few days later, a week or something later. I came back in 2006, and I was sitting in the back or whatever, and they were getting ready to move to another building because I guess they were finished renting out or leasing this building that they were in. I'm trying to think and put all this together, but anyway, let me think. I just had a mouthful about what just happened, about all the things that happened at the same time. But I'm seeing shadows walking through the wall. And so I leave and say I'm not coming back. What happened was I went up to the first gas station right up there off of Glenwood. It used to be a Citco and a BP right up there together. I went to the Citco and asked this man, could he give me a ride? He said, no, I ain't giving you no ride. So I left there and I walked up the BP. It just so happened that this lady was pumping gas into her car, and she had left the keys in the ignition and the door was open. I jumped in the car and I sped off with the car. She was about to pump gas, but she had just got out the car. And I sped off and I drove until I couldn't drive no more. I ended up in North Carolina and ran out of gas. And I'm standing in the street in the median behind a car waiting for somebody to come help me because I didn't know where I was at. Somebody called the police, and the police came and got me, and they wrote me up for stealing the car. They were going to let me go because it was my first time offending, but I told them, I don't want you to let me go. I want you to keep me here because I did something wrong, and I want to pay for what I did. I called my mom while I was in jail. She came up to North Carolina with my aunt, and she came in there and she wanted to talk. I didn't want to talk. I put the phone down and I went back in jail, and by that time she was like maybe 7 months pregnant by then, so she was swole. She didn't know she was pregnant. You know, some people that get pregnant, they didn't know she was pregnant. She didn't know she was pregnant. So at that time, she had found out or whatever. She was with this man, my stepdad. I used to call him Papa Joe. But anyway, I never had any issues with him. I thought he was a cool guy. I just felt like they should have got married, but relationship didn't work out. They didn't want to settle down. They found their differences and split up or whatever, but not until a few years there. So that was in New Year's Eve of 2006 was when I did that. So what happened was they sent me to an institute to get me psychiatrically checked out. When I was in the jail, I got into the shower with my jumpsuit on because I was hot. And because there was a lot of women in there, and that's my first time in jail, and I didn't want to get naked. I didn't take a shower, I just got wet because I was hot. I laid back down and dried up. But some of the other people were complaining. It's like, she's weird. I didn't say nothing to nobody. And they called me into the place, and the psychiatrist was talking to me. He said, we looked into your paperwork, and it says that at 16 something happened to you, and you weren't doing good in school. And we think that what's going on with you now has something to do with what happened to you then. This is the age that this happens, around 22 years old. We talked to your mom. We know everything that's going on. When I got out of jail, my mom said she did not talk to the psychiatrist. She didn't talk to nobody in the jail. She just called to see if she could talk to me. And you know how sometimes police can put you in those positions to give you false confessions where they just convince you that they're your friend. But anyway, I told the psychiatrist I was at DeVry and that I quit school. This was around the time when what happened to me at WGCL. I quit school because I was failing in school because the money was low. Or I wouldn't get in enough, and I didn't even have money for lunch, and I would go up. I was trying to survive off grits and not eating during the day. My mom would do that. She wouldn't work. She went to work and she didn't eat anything all day. She just eat when she got home. I tried to do that, but I got sick. I was like real weak or whatever. And I quit school because I just couldn't handle the stress. What I really didn't quit school. I was trying to withdraw, and instead of putting me on like temporary withdrawal, I signed the wrong paper and I was permanently withdrawn because I was planning on going back after I took a few months to take a break. So that happened. So I'm not in school, and I'm praying, God, how do I fix this? Because my mom told me, she said, you stay in school because I want you to get your education. I don't want you working right now. I was like, can I get a job? She's like, no. So I didn't have a job. And I withdrew from school without telling her because I was sick, and I felt like I had to make this decision because if it was up to her, I'd still be in school struggling until the final point of me about to have a breakdown physically or coming up with some kind of disease. She just would keep pushing to just topple over, break. But anyway, I couldn't say no more. That's part of the reason I left. I was like, I feel like a failure. Nothing's going right for me in my life. This happened to me at WGCL. I feel like the friends I had have walked out on me. I thought they were friends, but where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Who do I talk to? And we didn't have a phone in the house for me to call any friends. I didn't have stamps to write anybody letters. The reason we didn't have a phone because she didn't want to get phone calls from the bill collectors. She liked to hide away from people. From what I know, she don't have any arrest warrants or nobody looking for her now. So if I put this video out, it's not going to be somebody trying to come find her saying she owes something or whatever.